Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a baby card to share with you, which is part of a Challenge a Crafty Friend card challenge that I did with Julia from Craft Room Adventures. Now it has been a while since we did this, but when life is just too busy, we are not going to rush into a challenge. We give each other the time that we need. So for this challenge, I decided to go with Hello Bluebird products. I also have the Sweet Feline from Mama Elephant, but mostly Hello Bluebird products. Now, as you can see here, just a few images. My card is so simple, but truly it took a world of time. It was crazy. But I'm featuring the word buddies Woodland from Hello Bluebird. These are so adorable and I haven't used them enough, so I took this challenge as a way to really get more out of my stem sets. So I have these two adorable bunnies and I'm going to color them slightly different but almost with exactly the same markers. You know how I work. So I'm just changing up the darkness and I'm using for the second bunny my all-time combination of browns. Now, in case you don't want to write down combinations but you like them, you can always visit my blog post and there you have all of the combinations listed. Now, as I said, this card doesn't look really difficult, and it wasn't. It just took me just a ton of time. And why? Well, I think it was about how I create the baby that we will see later on. I also tried to snip some parts out of this video just to save some time, because even with speeding things up, it was still over half an hour to share. But I truly enjoyed the process as well. It was a tiny bit frustrating, but I really enjoyed the process. I just had to figure things out on the go, and I'm not really an engineer or anything like that. And normally I just base my cards on die cuts that I have and such, and I make really simple cards without any die cutting, with just one layer card and stuff like that. So today it was a tiny bit different, but you will see why and how I came around to doing that. So my coloring is almost done, and then I'm going to use the matching dies to cut these three images out, and then we can continue with the card. Now, for the card, I took this Sweet Feline from Mama Elephant. I have this big Charlie large outline alpha die, and I wanted to add the baby in between these lovely borders by the Sweet Feline die set from Mama Elephant. So I cut them out. I didn't necessarily cut them out completely because I didn't need it. I just didn't know yet how far I wanted that baby to be upwards, downwards, in the center of my card. So that was also something to figure out. Now, aside from the baby, I have Hello that I want to use, and that one is from the Gallery frame number 6 die from Hello Bluebird. And then in between these two panels, I needed a white panel because my white card base is slightly a different white than my Transotype perfect coloring paper. So just to avoid me getting like a breakdown here, I just added already a panel here. And then I snipped off all of the excess. It doesn't necessarily have to be straight. These two Sweet Feline borders have to be straight. That's the most important thing. So I laid out a baby to see how much wiggle room I needed, and then I had these adorable, cute critters that definitely needed some space on top of the baby. So these were the most important things to figure out. So where did I want to place the baby, and I cannot exactly say it where it was, but as you can see, it's a bit trial and error. It's a bit moving things around and stuff. And then I decided to add these borders with some foam. Now, because my my snipping tool, or my now I can recall, my guillotine trimmer isn't really good with cutting off things where there is some adhesive or foam adhesive underneath. So that's why I added the foam immediately on my card base to go from there. And as you can see, there is still some items hanging off, but that's perfectly fine. I'm just trying to line up that panel straight, using also the fold of my card base, and then all the rest I will be trimming off. And there is no adhesive on the back, so my trimmer will not get difficult. Okay, and as you can see, I sort of created my background, but it's all white, all white. So I really had to have a pop of color. And I'm almost to that tricky part, you know. But I really like how it turned out, so I'm glad to share it. But be sure that if you want to create a card like this, that you have some time. So for the baby, as I said, I'm using the Charlie Large Outline Alpha Die. And I'm only going to use the outline, although I have all of the inserts as well for the A, for the B's, because I only want that outline. But however, you need to see that it's an A, a B, and so on. So I have doubled up all of these letters because I needed a bit of height. And then I'm going to use my T-square ruler here to align those letters on top of my card panel or card base. So I'm just using some liquid glue. And I'm starting with the outer letters and I'm working my way towards the center. Once I have the placement on the outside, it's easier to then fill up the rest and make sure that everything is a bit spaced out correctly. So we need these letters also to guide us for the next step. So I had to adhere them first, and then the annoying or fun part or the satisfying part will start. But first, those tiny pieces, the center pieces of my letters. Therefore, I also have the not negative, the positive B to help me inlay those tiny pieces. Now sometimes it can start oozing a bit, the glue, so I tried not to have that, but just in case I immediately remove the B every time, and I use my tweezers to not have to start fiddling inside the B to get rid of the positive one. And then these letters that I have left over, either the outline or the center, I'm just keeping them in the back of my die set, in that pocket. It's always handy like this. You never know whether you are going to need an extra A next time, and then you only need to cut it out once. So definitely don't throw it away. It's really handy to keep it in the back. So once I had all of these pieces inside of the letters, I just made sure to, from time to time, clean up with my adhesive eraser. And then I could start on that colored part. Now I have these Tailored Expressions Tiny Diamonds. These are the pastel ones, and I truly adore them. I based the colors of these letters on that heart that I colored in. So I came out with all reds and pinks and a bit of orange. And I'm going to fill each letter with one color. And then the inspiration kicks in. So this one, filling up these letters, I based myself on Tisa. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Tisa, she is an amazing woman. I'm following her on Instagram. She isn't necessarily making cards, but she has this amazing content. She shares a lot of quick videos, reels, but also she crafts, and that's important. But she creates things with diamonds, with glitter, and it's truly satisfying to watch her. She has a great spirit, is always really a cheer to watch actually. And so she fills up bottles with diamonds, anything she can find. I think she can add some diamonds. Also rainbow all the way. So if you like Laura Besson, you will love this one too. Again, not cards, but also crafting. And well, she's a joy. So this is Disa, is her Instagram, with each time a point in between. So yeah, if you're curious, I based this card on her. Well, I got inspired by her. Now, as you saw for the bee, these diamonds, they are all the same size, and I love them for it, but at the same time it makes it a bit difficult sometimes to go in the corners, and from time to time to fit them exactly in, I had to push a bit against that second layer of the leather that I built up to inlay. Well, no worries, I just added that second layer again with some glue. It's the idea that matters, and if you look at it in total, I don't think that you see any boo-boos or any hiccups. I experienced them, but so if you want to create something like this, I definitely recommend an embellishment wand or a quick stick tool or anything to help you with those tiny embellishments to get them in place. Yeah. So this part, since not everything was perfectly fitting, it was a tiny bit frustrating. It was a tiny bit of a search. Also here again, I didn't know how I was going to, where I was going to put every color, but I went for pink on the right side, and then I broke a bit that pink off with the orange in between. So yeah, this was satisfying and a bit annoying and time consuming, but once you get started you cannot stop halfway, and I'm really glad with the overall result. It's something different, and I definitely think that if you want to create something like this, that this alphabet set can definitely help. I also really love the outline, but if you don't want to fiddle with maybe that your embellishment is not perfectly fitting inside of these letters, or you don't have several sizes, because Tisa, she has several sizes that she uses to really add all of those diamonds on top of her, well, her supplies, her drawers, I don't know, onto anything, but I didn't have it. But if you don't want to fiddle with that outline, I definitely think that using the positive of the leather, just that, and then filling that up with the embellishments would also really work well. But I just really like that outline. But maybe in the future, if I want to retry an idea like this, that I just don't use the outline and use just an alphabet, the center, or in case you have an alphabet set from another brand that doesn't have an outline, you can definitely try that out as well. Okay, so I'm almost there, you know, and I was so glad that it finally came together. Something that I also saw by Tisa, if I can refer every time to her, is that she does a lot of rainbows, and sometimes she already has the rainbow in the background and she uses some clear diamonds. That's an option if you don't have colored embellishments. Definitely, sometimes she has a rainbow and she even uses a rainbow diamond on top. There are many ways to make this your own, and it really is a lot of fun. So, having the baby done, truly satisfied. Also, here and there I needed to erase some things with the adhesive eraser just to clean it up, because this is a white card. And then at hello, I wanted it to be in white, and then I thought, well, maybe that's just a bit too much of a white, you know? So I tested this ballet slipper out, my favorite pink, it's from Concord and 9th. I tested whether it was going to work with those letters that I had underneath, and it worked fine. So I have this hello die cut twice out of white cardstock and once out of the pink one. And I'm going to just add one on top of the other so that I have my sentiment a bit higher up, but also it will be floating for a bit, because above the baby, well, the foam adhesive is just higher, you know. So I'm going to add glue halfway the hello, not everywhere, it is going to float. Here I just needed to make sure that using this negative that I could first of all get rid of it again, because I have doubled up my paper, and also just that I had enough of the letters on that upper Sweet Feline panel. Otherwise that would not work. And then, well, you don't need to use this negative to have perfect placement of your hello, but I just love how Hello Bluebird spaces everything out. They really think about it, and if you want to make it your own, you can make it your own, because there are some parts that are loose, but if you love, like me, the spacing, then definitely use the negative and inlay that sentiment. So here and there, as I said, I'm just using my adhesive eraser to make sure that I have no glue everywhere above a side of my baby. Next, for this adorable bunny, I'm using something foam squares, and at the same time I'm using liquid glue because it's going to overhang, and believe me, those embellishments are big enough, so they give some height already. So with the hello dried, I am going to just make sure that I have everything from liquid glue removed. Next, this adorable bunny that is just overhanging that Sweet Feline panel and like sitting on top of that Y, the heart in between. It's a really simple card, and you don't need a lot of images. You can completely fill this up with images, of course, or you can do a scenery card and then do your sentiment like this. Truly many ways to make this your own. Again, I hope that I can inspire you in any way today, as Tisa did for me. I hope also, again, that you will go and look at the card by Julia, because she truly is amazing. And if you don't follow her yet, it's time you do, because I just adore every card that she creates. And it is a challenge, crafty friends. So if you grow from here and you want more inspiration for baby cards, you know where to find it. And I really love that about these challenges. Okay, so now this was my card. And I thought here, normally this was my design in my head, kind of. And but then I was wondering whether there was enough color. It's still a baby card. And I think it's precious enough to leave it, but I, however, tried to incorporate these several embellishments that I used underneath and aside of those letters with the same colors, of course. So I tried to sort of keep them in that order. And yeah, once I had a few going on, I was like, this kind of works. But it was all about finding a right balance, and I really took my time. I really, a lot of time. But in the end, I was really happy with how those extra embellishments turned out, and so I adhered them. I just started, and once you start, you cannot return. Once you have 3 embellishments on top, you know that you have to add those other 10 as well. But I tried to sort of have them a bit everywhere, a bit randomly, but you know, random is hard. A bit to every corner side to just balance it out, and then I will adhere it. Again, embellishment wand, truly a lifesaver for a card like this. And then you can add so much more if you want to. You can add glossy accents, you can add glitter. Yes, you can. You can add even more hearts if you want to. You can use other embellishments. Many ways, but I decided that this, aside from a tiny bit of glossy accents, was just what I needed for this card. So it is a really cute card. I think in the end it looks simple, but there is a lot going on, but I find it to be balanced out correctly. So this is my card for today for our Challenge a Crafty Friend thing with me and Julia. We hope to inspire you with our challenges. We hope to maybe see what you created based on the challenge. Share it, tag us, have fun creating. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to check out what Julia created, and I wish you all an incredible day, and I'll be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!